How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Ayin, Daf 70 of Masechta Sanhedrin, friends. Okay, Daf 70. Interesting Daf. Alright, we're going to start on Daf Ayin Amud Aleph. 2 lines from the top of the Amud. Alright, wait 1 second. Okay. Ayin Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the top. Says the Mishnah, Mei Mosai Chayiv, at what point is a Ben Sora Moire Chayiv? Mishayechel Tatemer Basar V'yishte Chatzi Leg Yaino Italki. So he's got to eat a tartamer of basar, of meat, and drink a half of log of Italian wine. I guess Bartanura. A half a log of Bartanura. Does anybody know any other Italian wines? What other Italian wines are there other than Bartanura? Why is Bartanura Italian? Who drinks Italian wines? I don't know. Maybe it just sounds fancy. Yeah. It's a random thing of Italian. What's Italian wine? Wine from Eretz Yisrael, from California, from France. Who's drinking Italian wines? No, I don't know. Chaver, is there an Italian wine that you like other than Bartanura or any Al Capone? We gotta look. Maybe there's epis. All right, Italian wine. That's what he likes. Rabbi Yossi Omer says, Rabbi Yossi, mone basar, a mana of basar, v'log yain, and a log of wine. As the Gemara is going to point out, it seems that Rabbi Yossi is doubling the amount, right? So meaning, whereas the Tanna Kama says half a log of wine, Rabbi Yossi is saying a full log of wine, and the implication being that a tartamer is half of a mana. Okay. B'chaburas mitzvah, if he eats the meat and the wine in a mitzvah gathering. B'ibra chodesh, or if there was a gathering that they make for a leap month. Or if he steals money from his father and uses the money to buy Meiser Sheni in Yerushalayim. If he eats nevela, corpses, dead animals. V'treifis, shkotzim, remosim, creepy, crawly thingies. Achodavar shu mitzvah, epis that's a mitzvah, v'davar shavere, epis that's an avere. Achokomaychav lo achobasar, shasas komashke v'lo shasayayin. If he ate anything other than meat or anything other than wine, Eino Naisa Ben Sora Mor, is not a Ben Sora Mor. Ad sheyechal basar v'yishte yain. Alright. To be a Ben Sora Mor, what you do is you steal money from your father, and you use that money to buy meat and wine, and that's that. And you eat it. You become a Ben Sora Mor. Excuse me, Babylon. Shneimar Zbad says Zolel v'Sove. It says by Ben Sora Mor that he's Zolel and Sove, V'afal Pisha and Rai L'Davar Zeichel L'Davar. We can't prove necessarily that Zolel v'Sove is meat and wine, but we can say, well, we do have this pasuk that says Shneimar Alti B'Sove Yayin B'Zolel leBasar Lamos. We see that Sove is wine and Zolel is meat. How is that for a Mishnah? Givaldig, right? Says the Gemara, Amr B'Zer says, B'Zer, Tartamer Zeh, Ein Yodei Ma. What the heck is a tartamer, asks B'Zer. Well, Rabbi Yossi, his opinion is twice as much as the Tanna Kama when it comes to wine, right? The Tanna Kama says half a log, Rabbi Yossi says a full log. So we want to assume that it would be the same ratio also for meat, and therefore if Rabbi Yossi is saying a mana, so then Tanna Kama must be saying half a mana, so a tartamer memele is half a mana. So therefore tartamer memele is half of a mana. Amar Rav Chanan bar Molda, Amar Rav Huneinu Chayv ad shikach basar b'zol v'yoichal. He's got to steal money from his father and then use that money to buy cheap wine and cheap meat and eat it. Yain b'zol v'yishta, buy cheap wine and drink that. Zola v'sove. Zola is like zol, cheap. Interesting. The Amr of I think I'm going to be doing a lot of that today. The Amr of Chanan by Molda, Amr of Huna, in Chayv Ad Sheyechal Bosser Chayv Yishtayayin Chay. Oh, says of Chanan by Molda, Amr of Huna, that is only Chayv if he eats raw meat and raw wine. Ini really? Rabbi Rav Yosef Damitavai, Rabbi and Rav Yosef say, Ochel Bosser Chayv Yishtayayin Yayin Chay Einu Naisim in Surah. But Rabbi and Rav Yosef say Fakert, that if he eats raw meat and drinks raw wine, he's not even Saru Ma'ur. Amr Ravina says, Ravina, Yayin Chai, Mozik v'loi Mozik, Basar Chai, Bashar v'loi Bashil, Kibsar Kivadach li Ganove. Oh, so says Ravina that, okay, interesting. When it comes to wine, so of course they used to dilute their wine, right? Their wine was some kind of a concentrate or something, and you have to add water to dilute it. This is how I'm understanding it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know. But it's basically diluted, but not as much as most people dilute it. I don't know. The way I'm understanding it is because, like, what's the whole thing with the Ben Sora Mora? The whole thing with Ben Sora Mora is that he's not doing anything so horrible right now, but he's making it clear that he's going to be a menace to society when he grows up. And so I think the point, I don't know, this is how I'm understanding it. I might be wrong though. Whereas, like, most people don't really get wine. Most people don't take wine so seriously. They're not so infatuated by wine. So they're happy with Bartanura, right? They're happy with, like, just kind of like the easy approachable stuff. And therefore most people just like, overly dilute their wine and just make it like more approachable and drinkable. But he already knows. He knows what he likes. He likes the strong stuff. He dilutes it, but only, he likes to keep it strong. He likes to enjoy his wine. He doesn't just dilute it to make it drinkable. He makes it, he wants to taste it, he wants to enjoy it. And therefore he basically showing early on that he has dependencies on wine, that maybe he likes wine a little bit too much, and he knows just the right way to dilute it. I don't know, that's how I'm understanding it. And in terms of cooking meat, which I guess takes longer, so he's cooking meat like sort of somewhat cooked, not fully cooked, just like the thiefs do, because it doesn't so much time, because he doesn't want to get caught. Rabbi Rav Yosef Damar Tarvayu Ochel Basar Meliach V'Shasal Yain Migito Eino Ein Naisa Ben Sorer Mor. Rabbi and Rav Yosef say that if he eats salted meat, or if he drinks very, very young, very new wine from the press, Ein Naisa Ben Sorer Mor, he would not be a Ben Sorer Mor for that. Tanat and Hasam, we learned in a Mishnah in Tunis, I think, in Sechta Tainis. Erev Tisha B'Av, or on Erev Tisha B'Av, Lo Yochal Adam Shnei Tavshilin, a person should not eat two cooked foods on Erev Tisha B'Av. Lo Yochal Basar, and he shouldn't eat meat. Lo Yishtayayin, nor should he drink wine. V'Tana, and it's taught, Aval Oichalu Basar Maliach, but he can eat salted meat. V'Shos Yayin Migito, and he can drink wine from the press, this very young wine. So what's considered salted meat? So as long as it's like shlomim, what does that mean? Well, shlomim you can eat for 2 days and the night between. So as long as it isn't yet 2 days, it's not yet considered salted meat. Meaning you can, I guess, salt meat, but then it takes 2 days for it to start being considered salted meat. V'yayin migito ad kama kozmanchu tosis. And yayin migito is as long as it's still like very like young and acidic. Vitani, we learn in the Baisa, yayin toses ein bo mishum gilui. Right? Generally, we don't leave liquids uncovered overnight because the snakes can get it and inject their poison, their venom into it. However, yayin toses, this very like young acidic wine, you don't have to be concerned about mayim megulin, about yayin megulin. V'chamet tzisoso shlosh yom. This, and it's considered toses for 3 days. Hochamai. What is the halacha? Right. So we said in the context of Tisha B'Av, so basar maliach is after 2 days. It could be considered basar maliach, and yain migito is 3 days. After 3 days, it's no longer considered yain migito. So hasam mishum simchahu. Well, over there by Tisha B'Av, the concern is that we don't want you to be happy right before Tisha B'Av, and therefore kozmanchu kishlamim nami is bei simcha. And as long as the meat is within 2 days, right? It's still within the window of being able to eat a korban shlamim. Well, then it would be still considered simcha. It would still be considered happiness. But after 2 days, it's no longer considered sameach, and it's considered salted at that point, and you can eat that. But over here, by the Ben Sora More, the concern is, we don't want him to get accustomed to these, to the wine and the meat, and in this case, uvacholshu lo mimshech, and even any amount of saltedness, like it's not the kind of thing that anybody is going to be like, oh wow, I love this stuff so much, I'm going to kill people for it. No, like it doesn't, even less than 3 days would already be considered basum aliach for the context of Ben Sora More. V'yain ad mem yom, and wine, it would take 40 days, right? For 40 days it would still be considered yain toses, right, yain migito, and it would not be Ben Sora More material. Says Rav Chanan that the reason why wine was created in the world is in order to comfort mourners and to pay a reward to the wicked in this world, so that they have nothing for them left in the world to come. The Pasuk says, give intoxicants to the one who is lost, the rasha, and wine to those who are bitter souls, i.e. mourners. Amar Bitzlak says, what does the pasuk mean? Ater yain ki es adam. Don't see to wine because it's red. I guess don't look to wine that makes the faces of the wicked red in this world. I guess they get fashnikit and they get their face gets all red. But in the world to come, they're going to be white from embarrassment and from having nothing to account for in the world to come. Rava Omar says, don't see to wine because its future is blood. You're going to kill yourself or something. Rav Kaina asks a kasha ksiv. On the one hand, the pasuk says tirosh, v'karin and tirosh. Zacha, if you merit, nase rosh, then wine could be used in great gevaldige ways. You could be a great person. Loi zacha, but if you do not merit, nase rosh, you could be an alcoholic and you could become a rosh, a destitute person. Rava asks, ksiv, Yeshamach v'karina Yisamach, right? It says v'yain Yisamach livav enosh. It's written Yeshamach, but read it Yisamach. Zocha misamchoy. Well, if he merits it, it makes him happy. Lo zocha mishamameu. But if there's also a chance that he could get destroyed by it. V'hainu de'amar Rava. This is what Rava says. Chamer v'reichen pikchen. That wine and fragrances are what made me smart. I guess in his case it was zocha misamcho. Omer of Amram Breder of Shimon bar Abba, Omer of Chanina Maidich Siv, Lemi Oy, to who is woe, Lemi Avoy, to who is woe, Lemi Medonim, who has fights, Lemi Siach, who has pain, I think, Mi B'tzoyim Chinam, has injuries, Lemi Chachlilus Enaim, who has red eyes, Lemi Achim Alayayin, Levoim Nachka Mimsach, to those who are too involved with wine. Kiyosar Rav Dimi Omar, my Rav, when Rav Dimi came, he said they say in Eretz Yisrael, Haikra, that this verse, Mandadarish le, Miresh le Sefer Midrash, Umisefer le Reishim Madrash. You can explain this pasuk either forwards or backwards. It could be like, to who is Oy and Avoy, people who are like fight and all that kind of, and drink too much wine. You can also say the opposite, who drinks so much wine? Those who fight, i.e. like Rishayim, and those who are like Oy v'avoy, i.e. mourners. Okay. Darash over glilala glila darshan. Yud Gimel Vav and Emor B'yayin. There are 13 Vavs, and Vavs are like Oy v'avoy. Were said by wine. Vayochel noyach isha adama. Right, this of course is the story of Noach after the flood. Vayita kerem vayesh min hayayin vayishker gafashnikit vayizgo b'sochehale vayar cham avi knanes ervas avi vayaged l'shnei echov bachutz vayikach shem vayefes asimlo vayosimu el Shechem shneim vayelchu achironos vayichasu eser v'savim ufneim v'gom vayikatz Noach miyenu vayeda eis kol asher asu lebnei hakohen. This was the story, this was the Maisa with Noach after the flood, when he plants the vineyard and he gets fashnikit and he's lying there naked, and then Shem and Yafes go and they put a cover over Noach, etc., and then Noach curses Chom. Fine. So it says Noach woke up from his drunken stupor and he realized what Chom had done to him. Rav Shmuel Chad Omer Serso, one opinion is that Chom castrated Noach. Chad Omar Rivoy, the other opinion is that he had bia with Mishkav Zchur with Noach. Madamar Serso, according to the opinion who says that he castrated Noach, well, because Chom castrated Noach so that he wouldn't be able to have a fourth child, that is why Noach cursed Chom's fourth child, Canaan, right? Or Canaan, Eved Avodim Yelamo or something. Omar Rivai, and according to the opinion who says that Chom had beer with his father, Gomer Vayar makes Xer Shavik. Sivach says over here Vayar Chom Avi Canaan Eser Vasaviv, that Chom Avi Canaan saw Eser Vasaviv. Sivach Vayar Oysa Shechem ben Chomer v'Gomer says by Shechem and Dinah that he saw Dinah. So it says Vayar in both places. It means Bia. I understand according to the opinion who says that Chom castrated Noach. So as we said, that I understand why Noach cursed Chom's fourth child, since Chom prevented him from having a fourth child. But according to the opinion who says that Chom had beer with Noach, well, what's so then? Why specifically curse Canaan? Well, according to that opinion, it wasn't just bia; it was also castration. It was in addition to castration. There was ochit. According to that opinion, that Noach was a man of the ground, and he planted a vineyard. Amar Rav Chizda, Amar Rav Ukva, Amrila, Amar Ukva, Amar Rav Zakkai, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Noach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Noach, you should have learned from Adam. That what was the Eitz Hadas? What caused Adam to be thrown out of the Garden of Eden? Wine. According to the opinion who says that the Eitz Hadas was take grapes. The Tanya is one of the best. Rav Meir says that Rav Meir's opinion is that the Eitz Hadas was grapes. Or as a friend of mine's daughter used to say, zapes. And as her friend used to say, dwapes. Yain, because the thing that brings woe onto a person is wine. Wow, I'm like, it's the middle of the afternoon, but I'm like tired, like my throat is all dry. It was wheat. Because a tinoik, a child, only knows how to say, call out to his father and his mother once he eats wheat. So therefore, wheat is connected to knowledge, and therefore the Eitz Hadas must have been wheat. Reb Nechemia says, Reb Nechemia, Teina hoya, stak a fig, shabedavar shekilkalu by niskinu. That the thing that they messed up with, they fixed themselves. Shnema vayispu ale teina. That afterwards they used fig leaves as clothing, so it must have been a fig tree that they sinned with. Okay, well, what am I going to do about my voice right now? I feel like I just need to push through it. All right, voice, come back to me, voice. Maybe I shouldn't get used to his voice. Voice. How do I talk with this voice? I gotta find a good spot, a good talking spot. Because if I go like this, it's too But if I go like this, then it's just very weird. I feel like I gotta ease into it. Except I gotta find my spot in this thing. Voice, 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 voice for voice, voice, voice. Hey, how you doing there? Maybe I could do it like this. Yo, this could be cool. Maybe I should do this. Yeah, I feel like this voice could work. This voice I think maybe could work for, this voice might be able to work for, like with what I got working with right now. Yeah, I think this could be cool. I can always just get a drink, but then I have to get up. I think that this voice might work. Let's try this. Alright, it's a new interesting voice. Maybe this could just be my voice going forward. That could be interesting. Divrei Lemoyel Melech Mas Melech. Divrei Lemoyel Melech. The words of Lemoyel, the king. Masa Yisratu Imo, and his mother gave him makis. Omer Reb Yochanan. So this is a reference to Shloim. Dude, I don't like this. Oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. Why? Where did my voice go? It just disappeared in the middle. It's so dry. Alright, I gotta get going. There's somebody at the door, it doesn't matter, I don't pick it up anyways. Oy vavoy. Divrei Lemoyel Melech. The words of Lemoyel the king. Masa she'yisratu imoy, and his mother gave him musar. Bashevu was giving musar to Shloimo. Reb Yochanan says, Reb Yochanan ben Yechai, that his mother tied him up as if she was going to give him makis. And she says to Shloimo, what's with you, what's with my son? What's with the fruit of my womb? And what is with my the one who I made a neder about? Ma bri. What's the deal with my son? Everybody knows that your father, David HaMelech, is a big Yarish Shamayim. Now they're going to say, well, why is Shlomo acting like a shmendrik? Why is he being too busy with the Hanoyas of Olam Hazeh? They're going to say, Imo Garmelo. They're not going to blame his father, David. They're going to blame his mother, Bathsheba. Umay bar bitni, kol anoshim shal beis avicha kevon, shemis abba shuven and rois pnei melech. All of the other wives of your father, once they would get pregnant, they would no longer see David HaMelech. Va'ani, but I, Dachakti v'nichnasti, I forced myself into his bedroom, k'dei she'li ben mizoros u'melubon, so that we will have bia, and it would be very good for the fetus. And what's the son of my neder? All of the other wives wanted just that their son should be the king. But I, I just wanted a Talmud Chacham who was a big Talmud Chacham. That's what I wanted. I wasn't worried about that. I want a king. I want a Talmud Chacham. That's what I want. And look what I got. Somebody who's being nene, who's indulging in the Anois Olam Hazeh. Alam lochem lemoyel, alam lochem shesuyoyin, alam lochem omerloi. Bathsheba says to Shloimo, Ma'alecha eitz amlochem. What do you have to do with the kings? Sheshoisim yain, that all they do is drink wine and mishtakim and get fashnikit. V'oim lama lanu el, and say, why do we even need a god? The one who all the secrets of this belt are revealed to him. He's going to drink wine and get fashnikit. He could also say, the person who all the important people of the world are coming to his doorstep and coming early to his doorstep, should drink wine and get fashnikit. How did that Shloimo did tshuva and admitted to his mother, I am like, I don't know, less than a man, and I don't have the understanding of man. From Noach, I don't have the understanding of Adam. Adam Rishon. This is the primordial Adam. Alright, I just drank some water. That was too much. Alright, here we go. If the Ben Sura Mura eats his meat and wine in a gathering for a mitzvah, Amar Babo in a chayvat sheicha b'chabur shekulas srikin. So it says Babo that he's only for Ben Sura Mura, because again, the whole thing with the Ben Sura Mura is like we identify early on that this kid is going to grow into to be a menace to society. So it says Babo, He's only chayiv if he eats his meat and wine in bad company, with a group of no good nicks. But one second, our Mishnah says, one second, our Mishnah says, when's he not have been Soramor? In a chaburas mitzvah, make a siyum ashas, or make a siyum masechet or something. So time with the mitzvah, lav mitzvah, fagav de lav kula srikin. Right, we're saying that if he's in a sudas mitzvah, then he's not a ben Soramor. But as long as it's not a sudas mitzvah, he would be a ben Soramor, regardless of if it's bad company or not. So no, kamash malan, that no. It has to be with a bunch of shmendriks. However, the afagav the kula srikin came to mitzvah ka'asuk lo mimshich. However, if all of these nudniks are sitting around and he eats his meat and wine, but they're making a sim masechta, well then he would not be a ben Soramor, even though he's surrounded by nudniks, but he would have to be surrounded by nudniks. Ochal be'ibr achodesh, if he ate the meat and wine be'ibra chodesh. So the ibra chodesh is be'etzem, as we know, basically there's either 29 or 30 days in a month. So the Yom HaIbor is day 30. Now, if it's a 29-day month, then on day 30, somebody will testify that they saw the new moon. They'll say, okay, Mukudesh, day 30, therefore is Memela first day of the next month. However, if they didn't say Mukudesh that day, nobody came to testify. So then obviously, by process of elimination, Memela, it's a full month. Right, it's a chodesh me'uber, and the next day is already going to be the first day of the next month. They don't need to actually declare anything. It's obviously, if day 30 was not a new month, so the next day is a new month. It was a chodesh me'uber. Nonetheless, to sort of like what's the word? To like pursue menisa, to what's publicized, and get the word out. They would make this they would have this gathering in some attic in the town, and people would see, oh wow, there's an all-night gathering in the attic. It must be that it's the new month. So that's this thing. So we're saying that if he eats the meat and wine in this gathering, in this Ibra Chodesh, so remember the Basu V'yayin Masku, does that imply that the menu for this gathering was meat and wine? But we learned in a brayse in Olin law elo bepaz dogam v'kidnis bovad. What they would bring is simply just bread and beans. That's all they would have. There's no meat and wine. So Kamash Milan, what it's teaching us the afagav de ein Olin law elo bepaz v'kidnis. No, what it's teaching is that even though you're supposed to only bring bread and beans, and he didn't follow the rules, v'iyu asik basu v'yayin, and he brought the wrong thing, v'achal, and he ate it. Right? He came, and I guess he was rebelling, and he brought his own thing. But came into mitzvah ka'asik lo mamshich, since it was a sudas, there was a mitzvah, there was the ibor, right? What do we call this thing? The ibor chodesh. So this isn't a activity that he's going to be drawn into, and we're not concerned that he's going to become a menace to society. After all, he was joining in ibor chodesh. That for this Ibra Chodesh there's at least 10 people, and they would only bring bread and beans, and they would go the night following the 30th day. That's when this gathering would be. They would not go during the day, but at night. But don't we have a verse that says that they wouldn't go during the night, rather they would go during the day? Well, it's like B'chia Bar Abba says to his children, achrifu v'olu achrifu foku. Right? Go up to the gathering early while it's still light out, and also leave early, right, before it's too light out. So that people will see and notice and realize what's going on, right? Because the whole point is to kind of publicize it, and therefore go up to the party to the gathering a little bit early, so that people will see you going up and be like, yo, why are you going up? And you say, oh, because it's the new month, and be like, oh, cool, okay, thanks for letting me know. And also if they leave, or if you leave too late in the morning, so people won't realize that you were up there all night for the Ibra Chodesh. They'll just realize, I don't know, you were like learning the Beis HaMedrash or something, or coming from Shachris. But if you leave early in the morning, people are like, wow, these people were gathered there all night. What was going on? It's the new month. Givaldik. We said that if he steals money and brings it to Yerushalayim and spends it on meat and wine of Ma'aser Sheni, he would not be a Ben Soramor, because since he's basically doing it in the way of, he's following the halachas of a mitzvah. Again, he's doing something bad. He stole stuff from his father, but, this isn't somebody that we're concerned that he's going to, we're not going to stone him because we know for sure he's going to be a menace to society. At the end of the day, he's doing a mitzvah. Ma'aser sheni. I mean, he stole the money, so it's mitzvah ba'aver, it's a problem, but like, at the end of the day, he's like, he's going to Yerushalayim, he's being mekayim the mitzvah of Ma'aser sheni, albeit with stolen stuff, but again, this would not be Ben Sora or Mora kind of stuff. Says Rave, it has to be meat. Chicken doesn't count. But our Mishnah says, but our Mishnah says, when's he not a Ben Sora Mor? If he eats nevela, treifa, sheketz, remes, but hot to horin, nice Ben Sora Mor. But if we're talking about chicken should work, should be Ben Sora Mor if you eat a tartamer of chicken. Well, the Mishnah is talking about to fill it, to complete it. What does that mean? It means that you have to eat a tartamer of basar. I don't know, probably cow, sheep, goat, I don't know. So you have to have a tartamer of basar. That's meat, it's not chicken. But what if he eats a tartamer minus a kazayis? In that final kazayis, he has, I don't know, nevela. So we say it would not be Ben Sora Mor. What if that final kazayis was chicken meat? Then he would be a Ben Sora Mor. If the whole tartamer was chicken, he would not be a Ben Sora Mor. But if the tartamer minus the kazayis was meat, and then he has the final kazayis of chicken, he would be a Ben Sora Mor. But not if it's shkotzim, remosim, tvelis, nevelis, trefis. Okay. Ochal dover. Shu mitzvah v'davar avera. If he eats something that's a mitzvah and avera, dvar mitzvah tanchumi avelim. Okay, so if he eats the meat and wine at tanchumi avelim, when they're by mourners, dvar avera tainis tzibor. If he eats the meat and wine on a tainis tzibor when he's supposed to be fasting, the Pasuk says his parents, when they take him out to be Ben Sora Mor, they said he's not listening to us. But if he eats on a fast day, he's not just not listening to his parents, he's also not listening to the Rebbeinu Shalom. He's doing an avera. If he eats anything other than meat or drinks anything other than wine, he's not even sorry more. When we say any maichel, it's coming to include pressed ki'ilis figs. If you drink any mashke, but it wasn't wine, what's this any mashke to include honey and milk that could be intoxicating, apparently. Tanya, we learn in the Brisa, if a person eats these keilis figs and drinks honey and milk and goes into the Beis HaMikdash when he's intoxicated, chayiv. And an Isaac Ben Sora Mor, he's only Ben Sora Mor if he eats meat and drinks wine. If he ate anything but it wasn't meat, but if he drank anything and it wasn't wine, he's not a Ben Sora Mor. He has to eat meat and drink wine. As the Pasuk says, Lamo. Okay, so we're talking about meat and wine. When it says kisove v'zol, somebody who's like a glutton, yore, kisove v'zol yoresh ukroim tablish numa, and somebody who's like sleeping will be in tattered clothing. Amr B'zer says B'zer called Yoshim Beis HaMedrash. Anybody who sleeps in the Beis HaMedrash, teraso naisis lo kroim, well then his learning is going to be all like splotchy. Shenei is going to forget stuff. Shenemar ukroim tilba tablish numa. And somebody who's dozing off and sleeping, I'm getting kind of sleepy. Kroim Talbish, his learning is going to be all torn up. That was the item. Masechta Sanhedrin. We learned about the Mishnah says that he has to eat a tartamer, bas, and a chatzi v'yayin italki. So the machlokes Rabbi Yossi who doubles the amounts. We saw the scenarios in which case he would not be considered Ben Sora Mor. Very interesting stuff. Peace out.